Hello everyone. So in this video we will learn how to create Zoom meeting for new Eventbrite events. So imagine this, you are an English teacher and you are using Eventbrite to schedule the events. So basically the events in this case are classes. So the idea is that if there is an English class scheduled in Eventbrite, there will be a Zoom meeting scheduled on the same time and date. So basically here you have two choices. The first choice is copy all the details of the English class from Eventbrite, sort it out, and manually create a meeting on Zoom. Now the problem with this approach is it's actually very repetitive and tiresome. So here I would suggest that you bring in some automation so that whenever a new event is created in Eventbrite, automatically create a meeting on Zoom. So in this video we will be using Pabbly Connect to integrate Eventbrite and Zoom. The best part of using Pabbly Connect is there is no need for coding skills or programming knowledge. It can be done easily. Let me show you with an example. Okay, so this is my Eventbrite account. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an event. So let me just click on this button. Okay, so the idea is that once we create an event in Eventbrite, it will be reflected as a meeting in Zoom. So I'm an English teacher. I'm going to schedule an English lecture. Okay, so that's the idea. So let it load. Okay, so this is how you create an event. You just add a title, English Lecture 101. Okay, and the organizer is basically me. Okay, and the type is online event. So the time I'm scheduling is from 7 p.m. to about 8 p.m. Okay, 8 p.m. it is. Okay, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And let me just click on save and continue. So we have basically scheduled an event in Eventbrite. Now the idea is that there will be a meeting on Zoom. So let me just take you to Zoom and let me just refresh this. So I can expect to find one meeting called as English Lecture 101 in Zoom. So I have refreshed it. So let's explore. Okay, so let's see, do we have a meeting called as English Lecture 101? Okay, so as you can see, we do have an English Lecture 101 that is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So basically this is the whole gist. We schedule an event in Eventbrite. It will be reflected as a meeting scheduled for the same time and date on Zoom. Now to begin the actual integration process in the new tab, let me just type pabbly.com. So your obvious question is why pabbly.com? Well, we have an app called as Pabbly Connect that will integrate Eventbrite and Zoom. So basically this is the website of pabbly.com. Let me just click on sign in. Okay, so basically what we are going to do here is, first of all, we are going to create a workflow. Now using that workflow, we are going to integrate Eventbrite and Zoom. So this is the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. As you can see, I already have made an account in Pabbly Connect. You can also build your own free account in just 2 minutes. So let me just scroll down and here you will find Connect. Just click on Access Now. Okay, so before I create a new workflow, there is something I have to do. So basically, as you can see, I have already integrated Eventbrite and Zoom. Now this is running because of a workflow. Now I'm going to switch off that workflow. Okay, so basically this is the workflow that has integrated Eventbrite and Zoom. Now I'm going to switch off this workflow. The reason I'm switching off this workflow is if we create a new workflow and if this old workflow will be running in parallel to it, there will be a duplication of result. Basically, my point is, if an event is created in Eventbrite, there will be 2 meetings scheduled in Zoom. So that is kind of wrong. So that is why I have switched off this workflow. So after switching off this workflow, I'm just going to start from scratch by creating a new workflow. So first of all, I have to give a name. So I'm going to give it as Eventbrite to Zoom. Okay, so this is the name. Let me just click on create. Of course, you can give any name according to your discretion. It's totally up to you. Now, when you click on create, a window appears in front of you. This is called as the trigger window. So basically, we are going to create a new workflow. You obviously know that. Now, in case if you directly want to access this workflow, you can clone the template using the link which I have shared in the description box. Okay, so in the choose app, how about we make it as Eventbrite? Okay, Eventbrite it is. Okay, so now in the trigger event, how about we make it as new event created? Okay, so new event created is a trigger event. So your obvious question is, what is a trigger event? Trigger is basically a if statement. It asks a question, if the condition is met, what should be done? For example, if a new event is created, then what action should be taken by the system? Now we do have a ton of trigger events like event published, event unpublished, new order, and so on. All of them are a bunch of trigger events. Now in case if you want more trigger events according to your choice, you can just make a request to admin@pabbly.com, or you can just approach the help section. So you just click on the help section, and when you click on the help section, you will be directed to Pabbly forums. So all you have to do is just make a request that you want so and so triggers. Okay, so let me just take you to Pabbly Connect, and let me just click on Connect. So basically in the first phase, we are just trying to integrate Eventbrite to Pabbly Connect. In the new connection, just again click on Connect with Eventbrite. Okay, so it is demanding authorization. So before you click on allow, let me tell you something. Pabbly Connect doesn't take any chances with your data. Your data is 100% safe and secure with us. So on the basis of that trust, let me just press allow. Okay, so the authorization is successful. Just press OK. So as you can see, you find two blanks. One is the organization and the other field is for webhook URL. Now in the usual cases, we basically copy this webhook URL and paste it into the triggering software. But in case of Eventbrite, you just have to select the organization. In my case, it's my organization. That's why my name is here. Okay, so this Eventbrite account is in my name. So basically that's me, that's my organization. Okay, and so basically all you have to do at this point is just click on save and send test request to integrate with this particular organization in Eventbrite. So let me do that. Okay, so the authorization is successful. Now basically the idea is that if a new event is created in this particular organization in Eventbrite, Pabbly Connect will capture the data. So as to ensure that Pabbly Connect captures this data, let me just click on this button, capture webhook response. Click this. Okay, so it is showing it is waiting for the data. So let me just take you to Eventbrite. Okay, and let me just create one more event. And let's say this event is for Max. Okay, so we are going to create an event for Max. So let me just click on create event. Okay, so let me just create an event, and after creating an event, we are going to send all this data to Zoom. That's the idea. But in between that, there are two more action steps. We will deal with that. Okay, so first of all, we have to give a name. So Max lecture 101. The organizer is basically me, and the type is school activities. Okay, and this is basically an online event, single event, and we are scheduling it from how about 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. The event is only for 1 hour. 10 p.m. Where is 10? Okay, so it's actually, we have to scroll down even more. Okay, 10 p.m. it is. So let me just click on save and continue. Okay, so now we have scheduled an event. So basically the idea is that Pabbly Connect will capture the data. Oh yes, the data has been captured. So where is the details of the event? Where is the start date? Where is the end date? Where are all those details? So basically all this data is present in an address. Okay, so basically all this data is present in an address. So what is that address? So this is that address. Okay, so this is present in that address. Now this is not the full this is not the complete address. Basically you just want this particular ID. Okay, so for each event this particular ID will be created. From this particular ID, this bunch of numbers, we will be extracting the event details. Let me show you how it's done. So first of all, let me introduce one more action window. Now in the choose app, you basically want text formatter. So the idea is very simple. First of all, we just want to extract the details from this particular ID. For that, we have to separate all this detail. We basically have to isolate these numbers. So to isolate these numbers, we have introduced the text formatter. So in the action event, how about we make it as split text? Okay, then let me just click on connect. Okay, so basically we have to mention what is the text that we have to split. So this is the text that we have to split. So we are going to map that particular detail here. Okay, so this is the detail and we have mapped it. Excellent. Now basically now we are going to use the separator. Separator is this. Okay, the separator is basically your slash sign. Okay, this is your separator. So I'm just going to mention the separator as slash. Now since we only want this particular characters, okay, this bunch of numbers, Since its position is second from last, we are going to mention it as second from second to last. Okay, and let me just click on save and send test request. So as you can see, we do have the isolated numbers. Okay, so the whole URL has been isolated, the whole URL has been split, and we have successfully isolated the numbers. So what next? So basically this is the ID. From this ID, we are going to extract the event related information like the max class, and then we have the information such as the start date, the due date, and then the timing. All this detail will be extracted from this particular detail, from this particular numbers. So to do that, let me introduce one more action window. Now in the choose app, again we are going to use Eventbrite because we want to extract the data from Eventbrite. That is why. So the action event is, let me just scroll down, get event. Okay, so basically we are going to use an ID. So this is the ID, and from that ID we are going to get the event details. So let me just click on connect. So we have already done with the connection, so I'm just going to click on the recent one. Okay, so the recent one in my case is #9. So let me just click on save. Okay, so now we are going to enter the event ID. So let me just enter the event ID. So this is the event ID. Okay, so this is something you get from the second accordion, and we have mapped it. Excellent. All we have to do is just click on save and send test request to receive all the details of the event. So let me just show you the magic. Okay, so as you can see, we have the details, that is Max Lecture 101. Okay, and then this is the time zone. That is not really that important. Then we have the time, the start date, and the end date. Excellent. Now using all these details, we are going to create a meeting in Zoom. So to create a meeting in Zoom, we are going to introduce one more action window. I promise you this is the last action window. Okay, and in the choose app, how about we make it as Zoom? Zoom it is. Now in the action event, how about we make it as create a meeting? That's because that's the idea. We just want to create a meeting. Then click on connect with Zoom. In the new credentials, in the new connection, let me just click on connect with Zoom. Okay, so it is trying to authorize. Authorization successful, just press OK. So as you can see, in the first we have the field for the topic. So our topic will be basically the title of the event. In my case, it's Max Lecture. So we are just going to map that detail, and this is something we are going to get from the third accordion. We click this and we are going to map the topic, Max Lecture 101. Now this type of event is scheduled meeting. So we have changed it. Now comes the start time. So if you remember the start time, that's well and good because I don't. Okay, so I think this is the start time. Okay, yeah, so this is the start time. Okay, yeah, I think this is the start time, 9 p.m. Okay, it was scheduled for 9 p.m. and the duration is for 60 minutes. So I have manually entered it 60 minutes. Now coming to the time zone. So the time zone is Asia Kolkata. Now this is something that won't change in my case. Now of course you can just directly map it from here. Okay, so we have the Asia Kolkata time zone. So where is it? Actually, let me just show you. You can get it from here. Okay, Asia Kolkata, but I have manually mentioned it. Doesn't really matter because this won't really change. Now in case if you are from different time zone, all you have to do is search for which time zone it is and just place the code. Now in case of password, we are not going to enter any password, and in case of agenda, we are not going to enter any kind of agenda. All we have to do is just to create a meeting, just click on save and send test request. Okay, so the API response is giving that the data has been sent. So let me just refresh Zoom. Okay, so the Zoom is getting refreshed. So if our integration is actually working, then we will have the meeting that is Max 101 as a meeting in Zoom. So let me just take you to the bottom because the latest ones are always at the bottom. Oh yes, we do have the meeting Max Lecture 101. This is from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Excellent. So the presence of this meeting in Zoom shows that we have successfully integrated Eventbrite and Zoom with help of Pabbly Connect. Now before you leave, let me just explain you the whole mechanism in a nutshell. So first of all, I'm just going to minimize the trigger window. This is our trigger window, and I'm going to minimize this action window, that is the text formatter. And then we are going to minimize this action window, and of course we are going to minimize this action window. So basically this is the whole process in a nutshell. First you integrated Eventbrite to Pabbly Connect, and then you have used the text formatter. The reason we have used the text formatter is because we have to isolate a particular ID from a URL. And we did actually isolate the particular ID. And using that particular ID in this action window, we received all the information related to that event. And using all the details of the event, we created a meeting in Zoom in this action window. So now there's a perfect flow of data between Eventbrite and Zoom. Excellent.